I'll let you record it.
Oh, well, that's why Joe's here.
Oh, worry. All good.
So
We
we are recording. And we are good to go. Attendance appointment alternates, we are here as a full board. With me and Geraldine switching positions tonight. She is home for health reasons, we'll call it. And with that, we'll start with the budget workshop, and the first one I have on the list is the assessor's office.
That's me.
Yeah, you can come right on up.
Here,
Yeah,
you want
that's
me
fine,
here,
wherever.
right?
Do you work from right there?
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, my usual bare bones budget, a couple minor changes. I guess the largest one is an increase in the dues and fees. I have a new assistant or a new clerk that's come in, and we're going to train him hopefully to become the new assistant assessor. To do that, we have to take advantage of every bit of education that comes our way. So that's basically the increase there. Everything else is pretty much the same as it has been.
When I, just a quick question, when I was
Yep.
flipping through the information you gave us, there was something that came, I don't know if it's for future or whatever on this. Looks like NADA book values. I mean, it looks like it's a small increase this year, but in the future, it looks like that's going to grow exponentially, I guess you can call it.
Yes, and in the past, many years, NADA would charge the Connecticut Association of Assessing Officers a rate to price motor vehicles. And then provide pricing guides for us to use. Instead of the way they were doing it, just a flat rate, they are now going to charge each town on a per vehicle basis,
Okay.
which is in some towns going to make a really big difference. Our town, not so much, but still, it's going to make a difference.
And then just, I see that, I think like it goes up, each year goes up to 2023. So it's okay.
Yep.
So that's- Anybody else have any questions? Okay.
Okey dokey, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yo,
Next, I have the tax collector. Here.
Joe, good. Wait a minute.
That's Gerald.
Anti-Zoom lady is zooming. That's pretty hypocritical. Yeah, she knows who it is.
I'm ignoring you. And you can go for my root canal if you want.
Pass on that. What was yours?
I'm not gonna say that.
My budget is pretty much not a lot of change to it. It's the same like I do every year. The billings are pretty much the same. My software vendor was not much change, flat in that. I do have some increases in education and dues to try and get, so the OPM has now got tax collectors having to become certified every 5 years. So continuing education units have to be, I've met mine and now I need to get my assistant. Hers, it's 50 continuing education units every 5 years. So I had anticipated that. And so they allow me to go back so many years, to pick up some from seminars and whatnot. And so now I'm working on my assistant. So there's some additional educational stuff in there. So that's about where the increases in mine, yeah.
Question?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the town clerk.
Pages back.
Few pages back.
She's 4147. After IT.
How are you?
How are you?
So I think the same, our budget really hasn't changed that much. There was a little bit of an increase in our education and dues. That was so that I can continue my education. Because I'm a certified town clerk, but I'd like to get my master municipal town clerk, so that would require 2 extra classes. I take a year that wasn't, when Joanne was the town clerk, she wasn't taking those extra classes. And then the other increase was in spacing, our vendor for their price had went up a little bit for our indexing services for the land records. And I think that was about it.
Well, the biggest increase now in the current is your part-time salary, because we boosted everybody from 1775 to 19.
Okay,
So we did that at the Board of Selectmen level.
Anybody else have any questions?
thank you.
Thank you for joining us. You're up with that, Amy.
So I will share that everybody's full-time salaries, the clerical union was out of June 30 of 2021. So it's actually 2 years out. So you'll see in the full-time salary, small increases in everybody's, because only the supervisor is the only one that's in contract. Everybody else is out and in the contingency line farther down. We have the same 7% increase in our part-time salary for that change. We have a little bit of an increase in our payroll services because we haven't been budgeting enough. Last year's was almost $13,000. So, and I'm already at 7,700 this year. And let's see, that's really it. I have a $100 increase in my dues and fees, and that's just the cost of the classes that are going up. We haven't had increases in the last 2 or 3 years. So we have a couple that are going up next year. And that's it. Overall, my whole budget is a 1.5% increase. For treasurer.
Anybody else got questions? Good.
Insurance is me again. So the insurance, the first one is in the middle of the 4 ones, 4157, right after the planning. Actually, in between all the planning agencies. So this one, we are budgeting a 3% increase for the life insurance. They said there would be, we're in a contract that it can't be more than 3. And there will be, I think there will be an increase this year. So that is going up 3. I left the deductible at the 5,000. That's just either $1,000 deductible if it's a automobile, or a $5,000 deductible if it's an officers and directors claim. So that's going up, the overall budget is going up 2.8%. Employee benefits is all the way towards the back. Somewhere close to where you were for capital last night. Not the real far back. The real far back is all the capital projects by department. All right, so employee benefits. I think Jay did a good job last night talking about this. Part of it's the calendar, part of it's the wages. And so basically the 27th payroll, as you see, last year's actuals were 175. So I don't have enough budgeted this year. Oh, that's why the 200 for next year. Because it increases a day every year, unless it's leap year, then it might be 2. And let's see, FICA, I did 3% based on the wage increases. The DB pension is actually going down. We dropped our required contribution to the defined benefit plan because we had such great investment returns. So we have a $70,000 savings there. The 401 and the 457 is 3% based on salaries. OPEB is a flat 85. That one, as you see, fluctuates all over the place. Tuition reimbursement, we increased to 8 because we have a couple people taking college degrees, so we are paying them. In the past, we hadn't paid any, but last year we paid $30,000, and so far this year, we've already paid $2,400. Unemployment, we just put a standard 15,000 in there. Current year, we've already paid more than 14. So it's a kind of guess, my best guess. Workers' comp is a 3% because that's the cap on that. It said there would be no increase, but just exposure, but that means if raises go up, then so does workers' comp exposure. Health insurance is going down a little bit. I did a full-blown census, everybody who's taking, and this is everybody who's taking for the insurance for next year, and vacant positions are in there as families. And heart and hypertension, we did decrease it because our trends have been pretty low. We had spent 16,000, 12,000, and 15,000, and so far only 1,800 this year. What doesn't get spent out of this line gets sent to the heart and hypertension fund for future claims. And physicals we increased because we've been spending more than 3,000 a year, already spent 2,090 this year. So the 3,000 is our best guess. Overall, employee benefits are going down 0.7%.
Questions? Move on to planning department. Looks like, yes, planning.
Made a cheat sheet. She's in the second tab under the general government. Kind of near where that property insurance just was. So my budget is 80% salary. 17% professional services, and we have advertising for freedom of information requirements. And 2% is fees, dues, and travel. Our biggest increase overall in the budget is under professional services, and that is Tyche. They're a planning and policy advising company, and Mike D'Amato has been on staff, he was the interim town planner for about a year. And he's transitioning from the administration role to more of a strategic kind of economic development facilitator. He's got a lot of connections and belongs to professional organizations that he's able to tap into and help foster coordinating with developers, with different agencies like Advanced CT. And he's got his finger on the pulse and can get our available properties seen by developers. And then we have a slew of regulations we want to revamp and update in the implementation of the warehouse pipe study. We need to craft some regulations, a different type of regulations, and then implement that to bring that vision. So.
Anybody got questions?
And then she has all her commissions.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh,
we didn't give her what she wanted, but we did come up with a formula to give recording secretaries in most cases more money. So Jay talked a little bit about it last night, that we did it for based on how long the meetings are, how long the minutes are, whether it's a legal responsibility, and those numbers have all been adjusted. And that's really it for, other than EDC, Jay didn't give them, they wanted some, they asked for some professional services along with some dues and fees, and those have both been cut. But the recording secretary did go up.
Because most of that's getting done through the department now, right?
Yeah, yes. That would be what we pay Mike to do.
Yeah. Good. Thank you.
So buildings next, and Jay's not here, so I guess I'm gonna do it for you. So right now we're in transition, but the only thing that got changed was we have funded $20,000. Originally, when we funded it, we thought it would be needing to call in additional services for inspection services for Calamar.
Maybe this year.
Here we are, 4 years later. And we haven't used them. We used a little bit a few years ago. Rand got hurt. And we had somebody fill in from another town. So, but those services have not been used since then. So Jay did cut it from the 20,000 that's currently in there to 10 for next year. But that department is in flux. We're filling in with South Windsor right now. And our staffing, we have a brand new person starting, but they're not here yet. And now we have a part-time person departing, so that will be another position that will need to be looked at.
That's gonna be all whole department,
100%.
100% new department.
And so any of the professional services this year, we'd be able to move money between lines because we don't have employees.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
we'd be able to cover that, but that's all in.
Matter of fact, I saw the first bill, I think yesterday it came in.
Okay.
We haven't paid it yet, but our first bill came in. But yeah, I'll be back for transfers.
Yeah. So, but, yeah, but by June 30th,
Yeah.
or July 1st, I should say, that department should be staffed and then with this run on the budget that we present. Okay. Anybody have any questions? If there's not that.
No, Melissa Maltese?
She probably pulling in.
No, we're.
I'm here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we'll do things out of order and we'll go to Public Works and listen, have her up.
Good evening. First one, Public Works, 100-54303. Basically, everything under department expenses is staying flat and level. Up above, under personnel, the salary increase the full-time salary line is due to contractual obligations, other than my administrative assistant, who's in the clerical union and have a contract at the moment. Looking for a little more, overtime and part-time salary. Overtime because they're all making more, so the overtime is going to cost more. And part-time because we have responsibilities at the parks and what have you. And we seem to continue to get more parks and more responsibilities, not more people. So that's that. Town property.
Yep.
54304. Things, we try to keep things as level as we could. I have newer numbers for the hydrants and the water. The water number is actually going to be 12,509, I believe, and the hydrants are like 403.
Yeah, we made those changes at the selectmen level.
Everything else, we have some increases, obviously, in gas and diesel and oil heat a little bit, because you all know what's happening out there. So electricity and street lights are based upon our new, we went out to bid again. So it's based upon our new contract. We did that through CCM. Custodial services went up by contract. And project renovation was for a specific project. I think the first selectman took that out, the 10 grand. And the phone bills based upon usage.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Just about the fire hydrants. I may have asked this before, but it seems so expensive. Do they do something to each fire hydrant every year, or is that just?
No,
The lines.
actually, it's not just fire hydrants. We pay so much per foot of water main that serves the hydrants,
Okay,
and then so much per hydrant. And they just, Pura lets them increase their rates
so we're just. paying
about
them-
every year.
We're just paying them for the use of getting the water to the
To
fire.
the
hydrant. They don't
basin.
maintain, they don't do any maintenance per se unless something happens.
Right. Right, yes, yeah, it's just right. The water goes to the hydrant. If we never had a fire and never used a hydrant, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
Or if we had a huge fire and used 1 billion gallons of water, it doesn't matter. It's
okay,
just what it is.
okay. Thanks.
And it's no private ones. We've been through that too, where we did a thing, if you have a private condo association, you pay your own hydrant fees.
Right, yeah.
So these are just town-owned ones.
Okay, next one I have is road improvements, 54,306. I kept it level. I believe the first selectman took 20 out of the salt and sand. And there's explanations there for what we do and what we've done. We maintain the roads, plow them and treat them in the winter.
So this, and I always ask this question, but probably, but this, what do you have on the road? That's just for the regular maintenance. That's not for any major repairs. That's just for.
No, that's basically maintenance, but the maintenance can be, an overlay or a chip seal. That's maintenance, it's trying to increase the life of the road a little bit.
But
Yeah.
that's also where we take any guardrails, guardrail repair, trees.
Okay.
We did over $100,000 worth of tree work this year.
Yeah, trees are expensive.
And,
Very.
anything related to street signs, we just had to buy $12,000 worth of street signs. They're not cheap. The kids steal them or run them over. Or big. So it's everything related to roads.
So, I mean, we're not gonna want to increase it, but I mean, you left it flat for what? reason? I'm just curious.
Well, honestly, I'm a realist.
Okay.
There's only so many dollars to go
Yeah.
around. I could sit up here and tell you I want $1 million and you're all gonna get a good chuckle out of it.
Yeah.
So we do what we can. I mean, I do get more money in, I get money from the state.
Yeah.
Plus I have money in CIP.
Okay.
So I mean, we get other funds.
So I understand that, but I mean, but you're comfortable, obviously you're comfortable. I'm just, just asking the question to make sure you're comfortable. That's all. That's my reason for asking.
Well, I'm not really comfortable, but I lost 20,000 in salt and sand. So what, I mean.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, it's.
Yeah, I mean, we do what we can. Oh, my next one's building committee. That's,
We actually adjusted that.
well, we haven't had a meeting in a couple of years, but
No, but they're coming.
they're coming. Well, they will
We
be.
do the high school.
There's some
roof, so we'll
school
have to-
projects and stuff coming up, so
We'll be meeting.
they'll be having some
fiscal
meetings.
23.
and I'm their liaison, so that's why I get there.
You get the honors.
Oh, dear.
Um,
The next one is IT, which is completely based upon,
Yeah, that's in the other,
oh, that's 54143. I think that's what under town government.
Yeah, from the general government.
And that's basically based upon, we have a consultant that we use. We purchase equipment as we need to. We have software licensing, as you can see, is really the big nut there. And that's everybody's software. That's the police, ours. We don't have a lot of software, but that's the
Ours.
permit link. That's the treasure. I mean, that's everybody's software in town.
QPS,
That comes out of
ours.
there, yeah. So that's basically based upon, and that's, some of the vendors go up. We start early asking every department for, to get a hold of your vendors and give us the numbers, and we basically just input them, and we don't work with them, so I can't sit here and argue for them. It's what the people are telling them that they gotta spend. So
And it also is all our Microsoft licenses, right?
it's everything, yeah.
Not just the software we all use, but
Don't work on computers anymore.
It does not. Sometimes the world does not work with them.
Yeah, that's true.
Technology is a wonderful thing when it works.
Yep.
When we get a little too dependent upon it. It's coming from an older child. And last but not least, everybody's favorite subject, sanitation. The increase is basically, it's based upon contractual obligations. Our disposal fee is going from $90 a ton to $93 a ton. I don't know if anybody follows the newspaper as far as what's going on in Hartford with Mira, but their fees are gonna be somewhere between 119 and 126 and probably higher. Well, not every day, but pretty regularly, I'm reading that towns are jumping ship. And nobody's getting as good a deal as we have, because we jumped ship many years ago, probably 11 or 12 years ago. So we jumped when the jumping was good. And that's how they managed the trash. The single stream recycling, which is the SSR there. That's a estimate of, it could be a fluctuating number. That could actually, according to our contractor, it could end up being $8,000 to $10,000 less based upon the market, could be. But I didn't want to short it.
Yeah.
And be short. I'd rather have extra in there at the end of the year. And we did have I'll tell you, we had and it's not, we didn't put one in here for this year. We had a household hazardous waste drop off a few weeks ago. And the vendor, not only were they there all day Saturday, this is the amount of material that was brought in. It took them 2 more days at our facility for them to put everything in the drums, get that on the truck and take it away. It was a few years since we had it, and we're gonna have to get back to doing this every other year or something. I mean, we just had one, so I'm comfortable not doing it this coming year, but it'll be in the budget again for the next year's budget.
Yeah, I think we did cut it 2 years in a row.
We had a
yeah, the last time we
tremendous,
had one.
tremendous
19.
amount of,
It went that well,
plus, guess what? COVID. People were working from home. They cleaned everything out.
huh?
Not only do we not have it for 2 or 3 years, people were, I mean, they had nothing else to do.
You got the kitchen sink.
Basically,
So,
Just a question on the single stream recycling. Now, you have $41,000 in there, but they somehow figure out which stuff comes from East Windsor.
Yep.
And they sell whatever, so it's that's how that kind of works, right? So it's kind of, we pay probably the collection fee, but then the disposal fee is based on what they actually have to pay to get rid of, and compared to what they
right,
sell our trash for. I guess.
we used to make money there.
Yeah.
And then the market changed and, China didn't want things anymore, no. So they're having now they're paying to get rid of it, but the market seems to be coming back around the other way, which is why I'm being told that there is a possibility we could save some money there. when we first sat down and talked, he said, geez, you might be able to leave that at, put that at like 10 grand or something like that. And I'm like, please, go back and double check that, because
Well, we've already spent $9,700 this year and it just started in the fall.
I don't
So
I don't
think
want
that's
to
as
be,
low. I
yeah.
don't think it's gonna be that low.
yeah, I said, I don't want to be, looking like a real dummy when, I'm putting 10 in and it's costing 50 or something. So let's go with your gut, and I don't need to look like a hero, because I'll end up looking like the goat.
But you are. Inspire something, Joe.
That is all I have.
Greatest of all time.
I know what it means, but it's usually not a self-assigned moniker.
All right. is
I
anybody
was thinking
else-
Charlie Brown to go.
Anybody else have any questions? All right. You are.
Good.
Yes.
Thank you all.
You're welcome.
Have a pleasant evening.
All right. Miss Melissa. That's okay. We're probably running a little quick.
Yeah. I was meeting with one of the families from the fire. the other day.
Not a problem.
So which one do you want to start with?
We list the park and rec first, so we can start with that one. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry. Wait for you. Wait for me.
Okay, so there are a few request increases this year. There is one contractual staff member that is working out of contract right now because it's in the clerical union, so that's not in there, but we did increase the part-time salaries with the 2% provided by Amy. There is the state mandated minimum wage increase that is occurring this year. So that's in there. We did also request an $8,000 increase to include 10 summer concerts into the budget this year, which we've gone ahead and preliminarily booked for, which the first 4 will come out of this year's budget anyway, because they start in June. So it's really 6. But then it would cover next year also. So those are in there as a community outreach component. Inside improvement, we've asked for money for topsoil to level the ground at the annex. We're finding that by putting the ice rink, which was very heavily used this year by a number of families, that there's a corner of it that is not level. So the water is not level, therefore the ice is not level, and it actually split a board this year, and so we ended up having to take it down sooner than we thought. So that money is in there. And the diving board at East Windsor Park needs to be replaced. I'm going on my 17th year, and it's probably close to 30 years old. Since I was little. Yeah, so
Just
might need replacement. So that's what that is for. I did remove travel. It was $300, but I did remove travel because we have access to town vehicles. So staff is been told to use those instead of their own personal vehicles, which they should be doing anyway. In supplies, we did ask for funds for a water rescue board. We don't have a proper floating apparatus board to do any water rescues. And also a water mannequin for training purposes. We are getting a whole host of new lifeguards, and so we're having to do a lot more in-person training with them because they are younger and haven't had experience. We're getting them like fresh out of lifeguarding classes, so they haven't had a lot of training in regards to experience with that. So having to do more trainings and things like that. So having the proper supplies is definitely key for us. A few years ago, we added AEDs to all town buildings and parks. So we would like to have a staff member trained to be a train the trainer and to offer CPR and AED classes, not only to staff, but also to as a community outreach. So we could offer them in-house by sending someone to go get trained to become a trainer. So we would need the training kit that goes along with that. So that's in the supply. And then the dues and fees would be the actual class to send the trainer to the class. So if we were to offer the class out to the community, we would be able to charge for that, which would be a revenue generator for the town. That's good.
Any questions on parts and rec? Makes sense to me what you're asking for. Alrighty, that next says senior center.
Again, we have clerical contract staff members in this budget, so they're not given any increase at this point. We did do the part-time salary increase for our part-time driver and part-time admin assistant with the numbers that the treasurer's office gave us. We were able to lower our longevity because of a retirement, so that went down. We also eliminated travel because we have plenty of access to town vehicles now. So again, town staff are directed to use those instead of their own personal vehicles. We did have a slight increase or request for a slight increase for supplies. Now with COVID and everything, we're cleaning a lot more and making sure that the buses especially are cleaned because they're frequently used by numbers of people frequently throughout the day. So we're having to clean them more because people are getting in and out more. And so our cleaning supply need is increased. I can tell you that our transportation numbers have increased. We hosted 46 people today at our social, and I think 22 of them came on buses. So that's a pretty good number for us in regards to transportation in one day. So as we grow, obviously the demand for cleaning supplies goes up. So we did ask for money in a program line to be able to do some more programming at the center. We are getting higher demands from younger seniors. We're entertaining the idea of lowering the senior age to 55 to be able to encompass the senior housing populations that we have here in East Windsor, because right now you need to be 60 or older to participate. So with the reestablishment of the elderly commission, which we'll talk about after, we're exploring the idea of lowering that age to 55. So being able to offer some evening programs to younger seniors that might still be working.
Those could qualify me as
Don't qualify.
And even some senior centers are toying with the idea of getting rid of the name of senior center and turning them into wellness, more wellness type centers. So that could be on the horizon as well, because as you can attest, I'm sure senior center is
Yeah.
kind of, you get that first AARP magazine, you're like, oh no. So I can assure you that we have a lot of fun up there. So we got cornhole boards donated by the athletic club, so we have cornhole now, and so it's quite a good time. That's it.
All right. Any questions on the? Still call the senior center.
For now.
Just, I just thought with longevity, you said that went down, but I think it went up, so I just want to make sure that.
Yeah, somebody's length of service went up.
Well, we were able to take Janet out, and then I think Carl's increased. but-
Yep, we have 2 people still getting it there.
Okay, so I had 3 originally.
Yeah.
So,
Just want to make sure this was right, though. Okay,
The 1545 is the right number.
okay, thank you.
And it's based on length of service in the clerical contract.
Okay, no problem, not a big deal. Just want to make sure that, that I was.
thank you.
All right, and social services, the next one.
This one's pretty much the same salary for 2 clerical employees is not figured in because of their contract. Again, we remove travel because we have access to town vehicles and they should be using those instead of their own cars. And for the part-time salary, we did the 2% increase like the other 2 departments. We left everything else status quo for now. I can say that we've had 3 fires in the last 5 weeks in town, and you can't predict that. So it's hard to say whether the general assistance line will be enough. I know that Amy had to ask for a transfer for us, I think last week, because we've had some relocation when a house gets condemned for whatever reason. And they're not able to relocate themselves, or their landlord won't relocate them. It falls to the town because of the Federal Relocation Act. So I have 1 person currently still in a hotel since July. I have the family from a fire since the beginning of March. They'll be in till at least April 20th. And then I have 3 more families from this week's fire that I'm now responsible for temporary housing, moving expenses, storage expenses, and finding them permanent residents. So that is what I'm working on right now. So I can't predict what that line needs to be because there's been years where I give it back, and then there's years where it's been used by 1 person. So I think, and Amy and I have talked that it's fine for us to be able to just leave it as is for now. And then as things happen, kind of go from there.
Pretty straightforward. Questions?
Well, I'll just say thank you to your office. I know you guys have been busy. And I, obviously looking at this, you guys just don't get enough credit. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you.
Melissa's in charge of everything fun and everything sad, and
Yeah.
it's too much of everything sad.
Yeah, we've been going through a lot of tissues this week, so it's been very interesting, but we're just glad we can help.
Alrighty.
And Elderly Commission, I think is just the recording secretary, which we haven't been meeting mostly because of COVID, but also because unfortunately, all but one of my board passed away. So I feel so bad.
Glenn's gone, he's available.
I feel
All
so
in
bad
favor?
because Miss Linzer's now been appointed to our commission. And so when she got appointed, I said, I just to let you know that
You're it.
you're it, except for 1 person who's left. So I have 2 now sitting members. I'm working on getting 3 more members to complete that. So therefore, we will be picking up meetings once I can get those filled and hopefully stay filled. I can't make it up.
No.
Laugh through the pain. That's how you get through it.
So that's that.
That is it. Alright. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
So that completes what we had for departments to come present to us tonight. So they're all pretty straightforward, with not a lot of change from last year. There's a lot of discussion. Next on the agenda really is board member comments. I don't know if you want to spend more time on anything tonight or. Cool.
Thank you. I think you guys I can see that you put a lot of work into it. I appreciate that you guys. I think like Glenn said, right, being realistic. And doing what you can with what we've got. And I think you guys all work really well together. So thank you.
I'll ask the chairman if she has anything to say. She's on there. She is.
No, I'm all good.
Very good. Well, that was,
Next meeting is next Tuesday. And it's Board of Ed and then some of the smaller outside agencies, libraries, American Heritage, some of the activities and fees that we didn't cover last time. It's next Tuesday.
Can we maybe have the Board of Ed go last next Tuesday? I'm just thinking out loud.
well, we can move the agenda. I mean, I don't know how it's set right now. I don't have any problems with that. We can probably do that.
I know I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Board of Ed first and everybody's been told that they're after Board of Ed.
Okay,
Um,
all right.
I haven't heard from anybody as it being an issue.
All right, we're all good. I just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
She can make a motion tonight or in second. All in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? I don't think so. Meeting's adjourned, or workshop's adjourned. Thank you all for attending.
Why do I not have a stop recording?
End it.